Call the committee of the whole meeting for the corporation of the town of Cobalt to order on October 3rd, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Any? None? Deputations and delegations? There are none. Adoption of meeting agenda, draft motion. Be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the committee of the whole meeting dated October 3rd, 2023 as presented. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes, Councillor Starchuk. Any discussion on the agenda? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 5, staff reports. 5.1, Public Works, September 2023. 5.2, Animal Control, August 2023. 5.3, Bylaw Enforcement, September 2023. 5.4, the Cobalt Public Library. I need a, draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept the staff reports as presented. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Cooper, Councillor Anderson. Any discussion on the resolution? Councillor Wilcox.
I'm confused. Under equipment, it notes the trackless sidewalk plow has been sent out for repairs. And as I recall, in our budget, we were going to buy a new trackless about this time of year and get rid of the old one because it was in a very sad state. So I'm just wondering how it has come to pass that we haven't ordered a new trackless, and where did the money come from to send it out for repairs? How did that happen?
It was on the last meeting. We discussed keeping the trackless, repairing it, and just getting the brush for it, because the brush will go to a new one, because the town's trying to save costs because there's unexpected costs that have come forward.
I thought in the minutes we'd approved the purchase of the brush, but I didn't see approving repairs.
Well, that was the discussion, that we were going to repair the trackless.
A discussion, but not a motion. It's spending money. You know, that's why we have a budget. We've got to follow the budget.
But it was indicated in the staff report, I do believe, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, that it was a cheaper option of repairing it and purchasing the brush. It was all encompassed in one. The blower, yeah, sorry, not the brush, the blower, I stand corrected. That was all in one discussion, and that was what council approved.
Fascinating.
Hey, anything else? No. Councillor Anderson?
Are we going to discuss the library finances there?
That's coming up, I believe.
Or are we going to wait till our budget meeting to figure out what we can do?
It's on 6.1.
It's on 6.1 that we're going to be doing that. This is just the reports for the library.
Oh, okay.
Next page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Draft motion. Anything else before I move on? Draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept staff reports as presented. All in favor. We got to move her in a second here already. Gary. Items for council consideration, the Cobalt Public Library Board, and they have a budget presentation. Okay, Ken, if you want to come up and I'll introduce.
We have nobody here to do
You
it.
have nobody here to do a presentation?
The other three had of things, previous engagements today.
So are we postponing this to another meeting then?
Well, we can just read what we got there,
And we have
the
an
little letter
appointed
there.
member of the library board on council.
My understanding is because of the request, that's going to be a conflict if he's representing the board and representing City Line Council.
I think everything's written out in the letter anyways for us to read ourselves and then discuss it. Pretty straightforward.
Okay. Does everybody need time to go through it?
Are we looking at the
Financials?
Are we looking at the financials during this discussion too, or?
Yeah, it's going to have to be part and parcel.
Yeah.
I have a question about the legal costs.
Okay,
If there's one person here that may be able to answer, I'm not sure, but those other board members are here that did this.
it can be directed through Steve to the library.
Okay, I was just curious if there's any more legal costs coming in besides what's listed here. Is there more bills to be coming in, or is that just the total?
I can probably answer that.
Okay.
There's a 6,000 outstanding that we cannot pay right now, and then that should be it.
Okay, so there's no more, that's one,
Everything's
is it
up
one
to
bill?
date, one more 6,000.
So it's one bill,
That's
six,
two, I think, 3,000 each,
2 to 3,000, okay.
give or take a few pennies.
All right, anything else?
Like general discussion.
Uh, We can.
So, our bylaw that was passed does not permit money being used for, special, like, consulting expenses. It's really meant for the day-to-day operations. I'm concerned that the $30,000 doesn't even really cover what they need, and to me, it's not enough to see a budget of what's gone wrong. I need a plan to know what's gonna go right in the future, and I don't see a plan. I know they want to hire a CEO. I don't see how they're even gonna, like, $30,000 is not going to cover that. I need an actual plan of how it's going to be properly used and managed, and how they plan to, like, it's great that there's the early years program being run out of the library. What are they contributing towards the library costs? It used to be run out of the school. It's not, like, if you want to go to the Timmins College Library, they have a great policy on use and rental by community groups and other organizations. Our library needs a policy and needs to be bringing in their own funds and needs to be looking at how to run properly, and throwing $30,000 at it is not going to solve this problem.
Okay,
Where did you get-
I'm gonna make a recommendation, we postpone this to another meeting, because I think we're gonna need somebody who's not on council, unless you wanna remove yourself from council for this discussion.
Doesn't
Um,
matter to me, I can't, the library can't last another 2 weeks or 4 weeks.
okay, but there's questions that council needs answered before they can make a decision.
This is the 25,000 that was earmarked in this year's budget, so it's this year's money we're asking for now, not next year's, or promise for next year's.
Okay, but you can't sit there as a counselor and represent the library at the same time.
Yeah, I don't care, I can leave,
Okay.
it's fine.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can either sit there, or you can sit there for this discussion.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me, whatever you like. Whatever you instruct. But I'm the only one that can answer questions maybe right now, right?
I think we should put them as a deputation. So yeah, if you want to do the delegation for the library, and you can answer the questions the council has. But I don't think you can be part of the discussion.
I had a question.
Yeah?
I have a question for Councilor Hunter. Where did you get the $30,000 number from?
I thought it was 30.
No, I was saying it was like 30,000 for the legal fees. That's why I thought it was 25.
Was it 25 budgeted? For some
25,
reason, I
yeah.
thought it was 30,
Up to-
25.
Yeah, up to 25,000. You could give them 10 if we wanted to. So it was up to that number. I just wondering where you got 30 from. That's all.
Sorry, I think it was
You heard
30
something
and maybe
different,
a
right?
previous
Okay.
year.
No problem, I misunderstood.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
At our next meeting, I would really like to see a budget so we know where they're planning on going. A budget from the library, because we haven't seen a budget in a long time.
Oh, there's nobody there to do a budget really, right? Managers.
Budget 2023.
You look at the other, one of these sheets was the estimated budget for this year. And this one's kind of like an expense report of,
Yeah, one of them is.
Okay, oh, up there, yeah.
there was $1,000 set aside for professional fees, and we went well and beyond that. So that's what took a dent out of all of our money. If it wasn't for that 30,000, the library would be fine right now. Or at least closer to fine.
How did it come to 30,000?
I really, yeah, I propose we put this on the October 17th meeting. Move it till there, and that the library actually bring somebody in who can answer the question, not that you can't answer the questions.
Oh, no, I know. We tried
Because
to.
this, I don't think is, we're not going about this properly. There's gonna be some in-depth questions for a decision to be made. Bottom line is there was money in the budget for the library, but like everything else, we're trying to watch costs from the town side. So I think we need to be careful about the decisions that we do make. And I think we all need a full picture of that decision. So my recommendation is we postpone this to the October 17th meeting.
Can I add one thing? The bank accounts will bounce by then. There's $700 left, and that's, you know, that's what comes out monthly for utilities.
Does anybody have a suggestion? Councillor Cooper.
Maybe give them a loan for the time being until we figure it out,
Agree.
as opposed to giving them a donation.
Okay. Councillor Hunter?
I don't know if we can make a loan, but I would be okay with paying the utility costs and knowing that there are volunteers running the library, it's still open to pay for, the expenses.
Yeah. Okay. Is council okay with that? That we pay forward the amount for the utility bills?
Not much choice, do we? Unless we lose the library.
Okay, so direction to staff is release enough money of the budgeted to pay the utility bills?
Your worship, I will ask the library contact me and a copy of the bills, so we'll pay exactly that amount.
Okay.
So, wait, could I ask another?
Councillor Starchuck?
Well, so the library can't be open then? Or will you keep the library open? I can
Well-
see, is he allowed to answer this or?
Ken's kind of been keeping the doors open, you know, on his own.
But now, I'm saying now, at this point, with finances like this, can you even keep the doors open? I mean, you know,
Trying
I
his
just
best.
ask, yeah, I know, I just asked him.
Yeah, if you want to come up.
Yeah, those costs at hydro and everything are gonna come.
You gotta pay those anyways when the doors
Yeah,
are open.
doesn't matter whether
Exactly, true.
volunteers are there or not.
Like if we were to receive our 2023 funding, the library would be fine. The Canada Summer Jobs Program, we had 4 students. I have completed all the documentation that is necessary to be reimbursed for that money. I just don't know when we receive it. That's somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000. So yes, like if it weren't for these professional fees, the library would be fine. And yes.
Yeah, and there's more legal fees coming.
Well, there is 6 owing, and that, as far as I know,
Yeah, on top of the
should
one
be
that's
the
mentioned.
end.
On top of what's mentioned in this, yeah.
That's just what I can't pay. I've paid everything possible
exactly.
to pay, and we are now down to
understand that.
$700 in the account. So, but if we had had our 2023 funding, we wouldn't, we wouldn't be here, and I would be moving us towards presenting for our 2024 funding.
Councillor Anderson?
Okay, that explains why you're so short, yeah.
Mhm.
I remember with the museums, putting in for funding, you're paying everything up front with the students. And then you put in your report, and then you've got to wait, so it could be a month,
Yeah.
could be 2 months, before they reimburse you all that money that the government owes you that you already put out for them. So, yeah, so I'm saying, yeah, this is bridge financing help.
And
then-
that was also why it was necessary for me to leave the library board, to work in operations, to be able to complete the documentation that would on time get us this Canada Summer Jobs, Canada Summer Jobs line.
Why'd you have to leave the library board?
I
Excuse
kept
me.
running into problems with organizations like CRA, et cetera, where I was not an employee. And each time, like it seemed to be impossible to move forward when no one would speak to me because I'm not the name. I kept using the analogy that everyone involved with the library was on the same plane and it crashed. And I'm here now to ask, can we finish these things to keep our library open?
Mhm.
So it was sort of a decision that was made with the board that once Marilyn Lubbock was able to come and keep our numbers at 5, that we actually needed someone who could be termed an employee and to move forward. And basically we were doing this, to the best of our ability. I just came back from a CEO conference in Timmins where I've been given a lot of advice on how to move forward, and that will be something I will take to the board. But I need a library for us to, to be able to operate. I do think with the 2023 funding, with the return of the money that we spent on Canada Summer Jobs, which does seem to be complete. The last email I received was one saying I'm issuing the final, the final check. So I just don't know when we receive that. And so like really, paying utilities right now is I feel that would be acceptable to the board because we will have money coming in. But we would also then like to start presenting for 2024 because that would allow us to properly hire, properly train staff and be able to do what a library is supposed to do and be this community hub and have dynamic programming. And right now, if everything is just putting out the last fire, it's hard to move forward. Originally no one knew that the 2023 money had not been given to the library. So because the board changeover and the various board members that have come between March and now, it's just, we started with quite a little nest egg, and these professional fees are what has killed us. And that, we were lucky enough to have 4 students given to us for summer, for the summer programs. That was the first time the library was allowed to, was able, to keep normal hours, right? We were open 4 days a week, and we wouldn't have been able to do that without our summer staff. But the summer staff is you pay for it in advance, and then you submit all the documentation. And that's been my main focus in September because we're not necessarily going to receive that money. So getting an email that said, a final payment will be issued was a wonderful day, and it gives us hope. I do not feel that the library is in trouble, even with these professional fees. As long as we receive our 2023 funding, we can move forward with 2024 funding, and then we receive all the other amounts of funding that we usually get, and that we concentrate on fundraising efforts and just being, a little more wide-reaching in our grant searching. And I do feel that this conference I just came back from in Timmins, that we have a lot of support from the Ontario Library Service. They're going to be speaking with me the moment they're back and rested from this conference as well about what is the best way for Cobalt to move forward and hire proper staff to be able to function as a library.
How much is actually budgeted in the budget for the library?
Your worship, it was 25,000.
Okay.
The budget.
Anybody have any, Councillor Wilcox?
Love our library, I really, really do. And I love our processes, and one of those was we set aside $25,000 for the library for this year. Clearly they need it. And I would support paying that to them. But I also agree very much with Councillor Hunter and her observation that what comes next. And to that end, I would say for the next year, I would want to see a really comprehensive report from the library outlining how they are going to be successful.
And I think if you look at, what is usually handed in prior years, if we were not having these staffing issues, we would be presenting a formal budget report. Like what I was told that by Wednesday, we needed to give you a little note that, so we could just receive our 2023 money. I didn't know that, a full budget report was what was being asked for, because this was already something that is an approved budget. We were able to have our treasurer, put in what we think the expenses have been during this year to give you the best knowledge of what has happened in a very strange year. And I feel that when you are ready for a 2024 budget presentation, we would love to do that. And it will be, this is what we expect. This is, now we can start searching for what some of those numbers will be. We can start deciding of like what should be the remuneration for a CEO. Are we able to hire one remotely to do, by separating librarian and CEO? Is there cost saving measures that the board can consider? But a detailed budget report for 2024 is what you need, and I feel that is what the library is capable of giving you. The problem is no one knew that there wasn't that 2023 funding hadn't happened, and as we're watching our resources be depleted by these professional fees and just the timing of Canada Summer's jobs and when we are reimbursed, that's what's left us at this a negative amount, and and 1 month's use of worth of utilities, we will not be able to pay.
Okay. So I think at this time, this is items for council consideration. Or do we give direction?
We'll give
Or-
direction to staff. Maybe at this point here, request, if this council decision, request the library board presents the invoices for the utilities, pay the utilities, and maybe at the next meeting, if any board members can come forward to.
And that's why we're also requesting, to be able to post for new board members, because, where we felt that 2 of them couldn't present, and we had three board members left, where 1 is recovering from COVID, and 2 had just had other commitments for tonight. So hopefully, when we actually one day reach that magical number of 7 board members, we won't run into problems where there's no one here to speak.
Okay, so we need a direction from council. Do we want to release the full 25,000? It's not that, I know it was budgeted, and I'm also a supporter of the library. But we've also been going back to our budget with the budget committee. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant about releasing the full budgeted amount, but maybe we can release half of it. It would be my recommendation. Yeah, you can ask a question, yes.
How much do you really need? Like, I know you like the 25,000, but if you couldn't get 20.
It depends on what the board is intending to do, right? Like if we, in order to hire a qualified CEO, even if we are doing that, in a different way where that's, remotely done, and we, some member of library staff is handing that off to someone so we can, just do some of the higher level executive operations, like that's all what we are going to be determining very shortly. So yeah, but there is also, I think everyone on council should be looking at the Public Libraries Act and just see what even making changes to what's your previous budget.
Okay, I wasn't saying we're making changes.
No, just
Yeah.
But also, like I'm not knowledgeable enough to speak to this, but I believe like Section 24 of the Public Library Act does have some instruction and some advice on what can be done with, like when money that is budgeted can be, altered, etc. So this was just something that I learned today. I have not had time to research further. I will definitely have more of a discussion as I speak with the OLS, but I just suggest that, council maybe also look into this, because the more eyes, the better.
Well, unfortunately, council has to keep an arm's length from the library operations. So we're relying on the library for information to come to council to make the decision. So, and the only reason I'm saying is, recommending, I'm suggesting, not even recommending, I'm suggesting we release half of the budgeted amount, is that gives the library board time to come up with a plan to come back to council. And so that there's a full picture involved in making the decision on the balance of the money as well. Because I can understand the concern is if there's going to be another shortfall or not. As well as financially, things are hard for everybody right now. So it's not that we're saying, no, we're not going to give it all. It's just.
From an operational point of view, half keeps us open. That's, and then, all other discussions about this need to take place with the board. And I do feel one of the next agenda items is about the library, presenting for new board members, and that is something that we are in desperate need of.
Councillor Anderson.
Can I move then that we give them their half?
Well, we're not,
Can that just go through as a?
yeah, we're not actually,
That's the utilities rate.
it's committee of the whole, so we're not actually, but we can give direction to staff if that is the decision of council as a whole.
So, Councillor Starshak, there's a difference between just paying their utilities and giving them half. So it would be important to know which one you're in favor of. And I just think it's really important that we understand where that money is being used, because it can't be used for professional fees.
Okay, again, council can't get involved in the day-to-day running of the library.
It's actually in our bylaw. It's in the bylaw how it's used, specifically in the bylaw.
Okay. And that's why I recommended we release half the money now, and they come to council with a plan for the balance of the money. It sounds like they're pretty versed in what they can and can't do. I don't think it's up to council.
Yeah, half would help
Half.
greatly.
Councillor Wilcox.
As a game plan, doing that works, so I don't see a problem with proceeding with it. I would note, though, and I think the Library Act includes statements that the municipality shall fund the library for its operating expenses as required for the operating year. So if we don't fund their operating expenses reasonably, I'm wondering if we're going to be able to maintain the library at all.
Okay.
So we want to be careful what we're doing.
Yeah, fully agree.
Agree too.
Okay, so direction, we'll release the half, and in 2 weeks, the library board will come back with some kind of a plan after your board meeting?
If that is what you would like, we could also, half does keep us, afloat a little longer if we wanted to try to concentrate on filling the vacant board positions, and then having a full board for the first time actually present, a formal budget report for request for 2024. That would be great as well. I don't think, half means we don't need to be doing this in 2 weeks. I do think we need extra members. I'm not on the board anymore, so that's the thing. It's I'm trying to keep the doors open right now and learn as much as I can through Ontario Library Service and other CAOs of what is our best way moving forward. But I do feel that a lot of these decisions should happen with a 7-member board, as your bylaw states. So I don't think that needs to be a long process. So maybe that's something for a month or 6 weeks, but we will be open with this amount, and most likely we'll also have our Canada Summer Jobs money.
Councilor Wilcox.
Could we then ask that they come back for our November committee of the whole meeting?
Yeah, we can do that. And by then, we can have somebody from the board doing a presentation?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm just gonna go around the table. Counselor Cooper,
I'm fine with losing half.
Counselor Hughes.
Yep.
Counselor Hunter.
I would like the bylaw at the next meeting and an actual understanding so that we understand our responsibilities and their responsibilities. I think we'd have to review that again, maybe every few months. And I'm only for the monthly expenses.
Fair enough. Copy of the bylaw at the next meeting as well.
I'm in
Counselor
favor.
Sargent?
In favor.
Okay, so direction to staff is we'll release half and have them come back for the November committee of the whole meeting.
Okay. Your worship. So direction is 12,500
Mhm.
to the library. Also, with the presentation, and Ken alluded to, if you look at one of the letters,
Mhm.
it states that the library board has to post immediately on the town and library social media that board members are needed. And town council quickly appoints 2 new members. So would that be also direction of council to discuss?
Okay, we'll go the opposite way around the table. Counselor
Yeah.
Sargent? Yes.
In
Counselor
favor.
Hunter? Counselor Hughes? Okay, yeah,
So also for 2
2 new
advertised for-
board members,
All
yeah.
right.
And will we decide that at the, what timeline are we looking at for,
We're looking at, again, with the dates for the advertising for those 2 vacant positions. The names could be coming to library as well as council at that November meeting.
okay? Okay? Okay, thank you, Ken.
With that clause, we have to the committee of the whole, send it to the library applicants. Can't be voted on in a meeting, can't be done at the committee of the whole.
Just to see if their names.
Yeah. If we are not named, we'll probably do it for next council meeting.
Okay. The other items for council consideration. We probably should have had a mover and a seconder on these before we started our discussion. The Cobalt Historical Society replacement plaque, Willett Green Miller. I'm just gonna go through them and then we'll get a mover and a seconder and then we can finish any other discussion. 6.3, elimination of credit card transaction staff report, 2023-10-3-1. Draft bylaw 2023, amendment to bylaw 2023-23, your multi-year accessibility plan bylaw 2023, and there's a staff report included. 2023-10-3-2. Draft bylaw 2023, amendment to bylaw number 2020-50, establish user fees. Staff report 2023-10-3-3. Draft bylaw 2023 to appoint chief building official, inspectors, and fire prevention officer, TMSA with staff report. Okay, draft motion be it resolved that council accept the items for the council consideration as presented. I need a mover and a seconder on that. Councillor Anderson, Councillor Cooper. Okay. Any discussions on the Cobalt Historical Society letter?
Is it-
Councillor Sargent?
I was gonna ask, do they know, do you have any suspects in the theft of that plaque? Yeah,
Your worship, as far as I know, it's still an ongoing investigation at this time. But what the Cobalt Historical Society had requested, even though I know we've been hit with vandalism, it's not only our town, every town seems to be hit with it. Currently, I know if they were asking about what possibilities is to replace that plaque, they understand a like-for-like replacement would be between 10,000 and 15,000. And again, concern is if you get it, put it back on, it's gone again. So I think this would be a good discussion to continue with the Historical Society at this time and come to a solution of what
Makes sense.
And then elimination of credit card transactions, staff report. Has everybody read the staff report? Okay. So does anybody have any other questions on the other items? No? Okay, all in favor? Items for council information, 7.1 Phenom, support for Northern School of Medicine. Draft motion, be it resolved that council accept the items for council information as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Anderson, Councillor Starchuk. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Councillor Anderson and Councillor Starchuk. Okay. Unfinished business, 8.1 ad hoc committee procedural bylaw. 8.2 ad hoc committee Sharp Lake property. 8.3 ad hoc committee purchasing policy. Any updates?
Staff is going to meet, set a time and date for the meeting with the ad hoc committee for the procedural bylaw and purchasing policy. For the Sharp Lake property, I'll ask the chair to speak.
Who's the chair of
the Sharp Lake.
Okay.
We had 2 meetings. We went to the site to see it in person. We have another number of questions that we are still researching. So we are working towards having a plan. Our goal is to have something for next month if our questions can be answered, but hopefully by December at the latest to have a recommendation.
Good work. Yep. 9, new business, mayor's report. Don't really have much in the mayor's report other than nobody's come in to answer my challenge on what they love about Cobalt yet. So I'll issue it again. And reiterate that there is a token of appreciation for anybody who wants to come forward and state what they love about Cobalt and to keep the positive message positive, as negativity does nothing to change anything. And I think in the vein of everybody wanting to make Cobalt more what it used to be or closer to what it used to be, I think we need to start with some positivity. So, and that's it. And item number 10, closed meeting. Draft motion, be it resolved that council convene in closed session as per section 239 of the Municipal Act. Oh, sorry, Councillor Wilcox.
Under 9, new business, I wanted to ask you, Your Worship, I understood through third-hand information, which is always difficult to go on, but that public members of our public works group who are also volunteer firemen will now have to wait permission from management to attend calls.
Okay, that's an HR matter and it's not on our agenda.
With respect, I think it's a safety issue for the community, and that is most certainly council's bailiwick.
It's not that nobody's going to be allowed to respond, but if it's a simple fire alarm, CO2 alarm call, there's no reason why all of our public works has to respond. And it's up to their supervisor to release the ones that need to go. Otherwise, our day-to-day operations with the town are needlessly interrupted when there is no call for all firefighters to go. And again, this is not an item that's on the agenda. If you wish for it to be put on an agenda for discussion, we can discuss it, but we have to be careful because now you're veering into HR territory.
No, I'm dealing in safety of the community. And that is, as stewards, that is our prerogative.
Okay. And again, the day-to-day running of the town and the employees and how they're managed is an HR matter.
Which will be done in conjunction with the policies established by this council.
No, it's an HR manner as per the municipal act.
No. How,
Councillor Hunter.
I suspect that our managers understand safety as well, and if there's an employee working on a safety issue, like we've heard stories of people being directed, and then because they left their site, a car accident ended up killing someone. So our manager is well aware of what is safety as well as far as what our employees are doing, and they are the ones to make the call. I think that they need to be allowed to make that decision.
Your worship, we have the fire chief here. Perhaps we could ask his opinion.
Again, it's not on the agenda, and I'm going to call point of order. Closed meeting, draft motion. Be it resolved that council convene in closed session as per section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended in order to address matter pertaining to subsection 2A, the security of the property of the municipality or local board. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Starchuk, Councillor Anderson, all in favor? Just a note to the public that we won't be resuming the recording of the meeting after the closed meeting session.